Right, so you're welcome to another episode of GH Move Freaks Hot Take right here on the channel GH Move Freak TV. My name is Asnakomah, and sometimes it gets very difficult for me to record some of these hot takes because I'm not going to lie. There are certain topics when I see and I sit down to record a hot take, I just change my mind and then I turn off everything because some of these things get too difficult to speak about. Especially because of generally I'm a very respectful person. I like to think of myself that way. But some of these things, when you try to speak on it, you might come off as disrespectful. So yeah, sometimes I just tune off and don't want to wade into certain matters and not give my hot take on it. But before I go into this one, you already know the drill. You have to subscribe to this channel if you already haven't. Please do well to leave a comment in the comment section as well. And share this video to as many people that you want to see this. And please invite people to subscribe to this channel. I'm still edging around the 1K subscribers. And I want, I'm almost there. So please get people to subscribe to this channel. Let's just watch this clip. Provide some insights on this clip as well, a backstory and all of that. But let's just watch this. So this was I don't know if it was a meet the industry or town hall meeting or what I should term it at. That happened somewhere in Kumasi. I don't know exact venue in Kumasi that it happened, but it was the newly appointed or the newly designated regional minister, the Ashanti Regional Minister, that was meeting the film industry in Kumasi. And in this clip is someone, Nyamekye, who is known as Miracle Films. Any Ghanaian knows Miracle Films because they've been around for long. I'm sure. Anybody that has paid attention to the Kumasi scene or Kumawood knows Miracle Films. So that's Miracle Films, and he's speaking to the regional minister, and in the background are several other industry people, very notable people from the Kumawood scene in the room as well.
Netflix and Amazon and easy so we Ghana how we to market Amazon.
Okay, so he's saying that it's not easy that anybody in Ghana would get. It's not easy for filmmakers in Ghana to get their films onto platforms like Netflix and Amazon. We've already talked about several times the lack of us not having a modern day distribution company that understands how to do that for our Ghanaian films. But I think it's relatively easier to get your film on Amazon than it is to get your film on Netflix. The Amazon model is different, quite different to a point where you can, easily get your film on there and even sell it or rent it out. There are people here in Ghana that actually can help you do that. So, I'm not going to give them a plug. I'm not going to mention their name and give them a plug yet. But if you have a film that you feel like it's you want to get on Amazon, reach out. I'll connect you to them and then they'll sort you out. But I'm not going to mention them in the video yet. Yeah, so let's go on.
As I know, Nigeria for prayer at the office about Amazon.
So this is the part that I want everybody to pay attention to. He was running a comparison with the Nigerian film. He was running a comparison with the Nigerian film industry, something that we all do. I personally feel like when I hear people say, "Oh, stop comparing yourself to Nigerians," I find it a bit weird that we shouldn't compare ourselves to the Nigerians, because if it comes to film, they are supposed to be our contemporaries. We are supposed to be on the same level as Nigerians. But to a certain degree, their industry is doing better, and it only helps that we sort of look at them as healthy competition and try to step up our game. So personally, I don't like it when people are like, oh, don't compare yourself to Nigeria. Don't compare yourself to Nigeria. Who else are we supposed to compare ourselves to? In West Africa, they are like our brothers. You understand? So, yeah. And he was saying that Nigerians have fought. Okay, they fought and they've been able to get Amazon and Netflix to establish offices in Nigeria.
Office for Nigeria and Netflix. Nigeria for interesting in the man.
And Nigerians make the movies and give to these platforms.
IT. There was YouTube office for YouTube.
So this is the funny part. He said there's a YouTube office also in Nigeria, right? Yeah, we all know the conversation about when Netflix came into Africa, and they decided to have their Netflix headquarters in Nigeria, right? And we also know the conversation from late last year or towards the end of last year where it came out that Netflix has essentially like packed up and left Nigeria, right? And there was a bit of confusion around it that Netflix was leaving Africa and Netflix was not interested in African content again. But I think they later on clarified that yes, they've closed down their headquarters or whatever in Nigeria, but that only meant that they were going to be very selective of the projects that they invest in, particularly around the conversation on regionals, right? There was a lot of conversation that went on that. I personally didn't want to wade into those waters because at that time when the conversation was going on, I didn't understand in full detail what was happening, right? But it's quite clear now that it's not like Netflix has left Africa entirely. They just closed down their head office or whatever that's in Nigeria, but they are still involved in making or acquiring African content for the Netflix platform, right? And for Amazon, I know, Amazon has like, what's it called? Amazon, the Amazon brand itself is not just on film. It's, they are into B2B business selling. They're into, delivery of packages or whatever. So Amazon does have an outlet or they have a setup in Nigeria. But what I'm not sure about is Amazon Films or Amazon, film distribution or the Amazon Prime platform having an office in Nigeria that directly acquires content. Again, we heard sometime last year or maybe the year before that Amazon had also pulled out of Africa in terms of actively or in terms of spending on original content. But that doesn't mean that African content cannot end up on Amazon. As a matter of fact, I believe it's much easier to get your film on Amazon than it is to get your film on Netflix. And it doesn't have to be because there's an Amazon office in Nigeria. And I know the Amazon setup in Nigeria is focused more on, what we go on Amazon to shop and how it's easier for them to, ship and all those stuff. So this is where the crazy sets in, right? He talks also about there being a YouTube office in Nigeria.
What the email never fight your pay free. But Nigeria for the offices there, the quiet means Nyamekye, the quiet means a like, the quiet means a boboni, the quiet means a two-tier training, now you be the amount.
Yeah, he was talking about how the YouTube office could shut down your computer or shut down whatever you're doing. I guess maybe he was speaking loosely in all that he was saying that they could shut down what you're doing, and then you would have to use your emails to fight and get your whatever. But and it was easier for Nigerians to do that because there's a YouTube office in Nigeria where they could walk to and then complain, and then YouTube could verify that, oh, that's you, that's your channel, and they would help you. But it was difficult for Ghanaians to do that because there's no YouTube office in Ghana. And he was speaking to the minister and telling the minister that it would help if government could step in and have YouTube have an office in Ghana, in Kumasi, precisely.
Especially with Kumo de can YouTube Kumasi from Kwani trying more. I create more.
I don't know. I don't know about that. What he's saying is that Kumasi, there are more YouTubers in Kumasi than, or I don't know, YouTubers in Kumasi than Accra. I don't think that's even an argument to have. I don't think that's even necessary in any way. Yeah.
Abanye betimi di no wagim na betimi nya officer YouTube no be hu say me office ni unya case within the YouTube akwa mo a link you from the US na aboa am ya bie di ama because your content be be all Nigeria for na fa.
This is the part where you know, bro, like I said earlier on, it gets very difficult to react to some of these things because I might end up coming out as very disrespectful. This is the part where I feel like he's literally like throwing dust into people's eyes, right? When you say that it's relatively easier for Nigerians to you know, fight copyright claims and all of that because there's a YouTube office in Nigeria, which is not true. First of all, like before all through last night, I was researching, finding out if there's actually a YouTube office in Nigeria. Maybe, well, there's definitely going to be a Google office. I think there's a Google office here in Ghana as well, but I think they focus on other stuff and not necessarily focusing on YouTube. And I don't think they have a desk even where you can walk up to say, oh, I'm a YouTuber. I'm a YouTuber. I have issues with my platform. Can you help me out? Right? I don't think there's that in Nigeria, and I don't even think that is necessary. Okay, because let's just finish what he's saying, and then we go into it.
And we better fight it. When the email fight you nimu. E bi pa e betimi aboy. E beye dey timi anya Netflix akọ.
So he essentially wrapped up with that I mean, government should help get us a YouTube office in Ghana where it would be easier for creatives or the film industry people to walk up to when they have like issues with their channel and solve copyright claims or whatever, because Nigeria has a YouTube office. Now, I've already mentioned that I did the research and there's no YouTube office in Nigeria. As a matter of fact, I shared I shared this clip with a couple of Nigerian friends, and they said they are not aware of any YouTube office in Nigeria, right? They are not aware that YouTube has an office in Nigeria. And from the way it works, right, I don't think YouTube is probably the most easiest like platform for you to share your content on. If you're a filmmaker and you feel like you want to go that route of making your films very accessible, YouTube is probably the most easiest and the most affordable for you to get your content on, right? When I say affordable, probably you might need to spend some money on promotion. That's where the expense comes in, but it's relatively free to upload your content on YouTube, right? So I don't see why YouTube should have offices in every country trying to fight, I don't know what specific interest. And the part he mentioned about like they could shut down your machine, I know that was coming from a very uninformed, but here's the thing, and yes, probably the reason why I'm reacting to this video this way, right? Look, when we allow some of these things to slide, right, it comes across as though that we are not serious as an industry, okay? Because he said that in a gathering of industry people, some of who might not know anything about these things, they might hear what he's saying, they might take it as it's a fact, and they will also go and tell other people. And it starts a cycle of misinformation that will probably go on and go on and go on. And Ghanaians are going to will have it in the back of our minds that, oh, there's a YouTube office in Nigeria. That's how come Nigerians are doing well YouTube-wise in Nigeria. It doesn't make sense, bro. Like, when you think about it, it doesn't make sense. I think, yes, we have failed or we have not properly taken advantage of the YouTube platform in getting Ghanaian content out there. Maybe we haven't, right? But that doesn't mean that there's an office in Nigeria that is, helping Nigerians do that. I've always maintained that one thing that is working for Nigerians, in my opinion, is their storytelling. I can argue this with anybody at any point. I feel like Nigerians are being more daring. They are being more intentional. They are being more specific in the kinds of stories they want to tell, and they do their best to tell those stories well. And it's even common in their YouTube films. The few that I've seen, because I'm not a fan of like watching films on YouTube, but the few that I've seen, I noticed that Nigerians are being very intentional in their storytelling. And I also feel like Nigerians know how to start a story. They don't know how to end stories, right? And it's very, I could argue this. I could give several examples of films that I've watched that I felt, Nigerian films that I've watched that I felt it was started well but didn't end well. But that's my opinion, right? And I'm sure some people would agree with me or disagree with me. But I still believe that one thing that Nigerians have capitalized on is being daring and intentional and specific in their storytelling. We haven't done that, right? And another thing they've worked on, which we also haven't done, is their marketing, right? You see Nigerian YouTube channels actively marketing their YouTube content. They treat their YouTube content or their YouTube films like I don't know how to put it, like a worldwide release of their film. They actually approach it from a marketing perspective where you don't just see an artwork, you see calculated steps at putting that film top of the mind of their audience and new audiences all the time, right? Many of the Nigerian film channels on YouTube also have pages or have pages on several platforms. They would even have a Telegram page, a Telegram group. They would have a TikTok page. They would have a Facebook page. They would have an IG page. They would have a Snapchat even, and they would intentionally market through all these platforms, right? So you would see that, and of course, the way the algorithm works, once you tune into such stuff, you keep seeing the adverts, and you'll be tempted to go and watch it. And when you watch it, they have most likely a very good story that will get your attention and will have you sitting from beginning to end, and probably have you subscribing to the channel, waiting for the next film on the channel. Is that so difficult for us not to take advantage of? Is that so difficult for us to sit back and say, or work with the assumption that there's a YouTube office in Nigeria and that is why Nigerian YouTube films are doing well? Again, personally, I felt like YouTube, besides being an easy platform for you to put your film out there, is probably the most, I mean, when you compare the films that you see on YouTube to films that actually go to cinema or go to other big VOD platforms, you can see they are cheaply made, right? I've seen Nigerian YouTube films where what's it called? It was 3 different films, but the character or the actor, let me put it that way, the actor was wearing the same outfit in 3 different films, playing 3 different characters. That shows how cheaply these films are made, right? And they are not expensive, but they are able to market it well enough on YouTube to get people to tune in. That's how you see Nigerian YouTube channels with hundreds of thousands of views, even sometimes a million views, a million subscribers, and all of that. And it's something we can also do here. We don't need a YouTube office in Ghana to take advantage of that. Maybe what he was trying to talk about really was the issue of copyright claims and all of that. But even with that, you don't need an office here in Ghana to be able to fight for your copyright. Unless maybe you do not understand how YouTube works, right? That's fair. But there are still several people in the Ghanaian space that understand the YouTube setup enough to help you fight copyright claims, right? There are people that, I quite remember when YouTube was picking up in Ghana, there was a company called Me Promo, right? That was sort of handling all the channels for most of the musicians, and they were taking advantage of sort of uploading content for them, collecting revenue and all of that. And it got to a point, they were essentially like YouTube partners, right? That were like, helping creators set up channels, upload content, strike down channels that were stealing their content, and also monetizing the content and making sure collecting and dispersing the monies that was made from their content. But now it's easy, right? Anybody can sit at home, have your channel, upload your content, get your channel monetized. If there's a copyright claim, you know how to fight it. It's easy. We don't need a freaking YouTube office in Ghana to do that. And the reason why this comes from a very the reason why this thing makes it even more embarrassing for somebody like someone Nyamekye to speak up on to a government official is that it makes the industry come off as very needy, right? It makes the industry come off as very not sure exactly what we need, right? There are so many things that I believe is wrong with the industry, but the lack of a YouTube office in Ghana is not one of those that you should approach government with, that we should cry literally and say, we need a YouTube office in Ghana for... No, that's dumb, bro. Like, I don't know. I'm trying my best not to use words that will come off as disrespectful, but it's dumb. Okay, it's I don't know. Well, let me stray away from picking words, because at the end of the day, I'm still going to come across as a hater or as being disrespectful. But that's the truth. Okay, we don't need it. Okay, and this is how I feel. Anytime most of our older folk, let me put it that way, our older folk, industry people, some of them, when they meet government officials, they ask for very dumb stuff. It's sad. They ask for very bro, there's several low-hanging fruits. You are not asking for cinemas. You are I can't believe this, that you met. And I'm not basing this conversation or this hot take on just that clip, because I watched the entire video. Right, it's our 30-minute video. He spoke. Nyamekye spoke for about 17 minutes. Other people spoke, and I was surprised nobody asked about cinemas, where it is known that world over, right, the business behind the film industry lies heavily on successful cinema culture. But you met a government official and you're talking about you need a YouTube office in Ghana. It makes me wonder, what do some of these people really think? What do they wake up to think about, right? I get that. It's easy to make money off YouTube, but you don't need a freaking YouTube office in Ghana to do that. You don't need government to go and fight YouTube and say, yo, come and set up an office in Ghana so my people can make money off your platform. No, it doesn't work that way, right? And in all the 17 minutes that he spoke, there are some things that he said that made sense, But again, the way he spoke about them and the I don't know, maybe if it's their lack of understanding of some of these things. He also talked about and that was where I think that was where the clip I have was ending. He was also going to talk about government helping Kumawood actors or Kumawood stars to go for film festivals. He was mentioning that let me see if I can play that final part of that clip. You know what? Let's just listen to the whole thing from the top again.
Netflix and Amazon ada ayini. It's easy so we to Ghana how we to market Amazon. It's more easy. As I now me no say Nigeria for prayer at the office about Amazon office for Nigeria and Netflix. Nigeria for interesting in the man fighting. There was YouTube office for Mama YouTube you make me do machine you make me do no. What the email never fight your pay free but Nigeria for the offices there. The quiet means a Nyamekye, the quiet means a liking, the quiet means a boboni, the quiet means a two-tier training, na ya be the amount. But Hano, over to me, ya will be few. It must Some abiding fun when you especially would come out there can say YouTube here Kumasi from one you can more. I create a video by Hannah more. Say abiding bet me in one gym, near to me officer. A YouTube will be me office in your case within the YouTube more link you from the US. Now a boy, I mean a beard yama because your contents may be all Nigeria for a fact. And who better fight it?
That's I've not seen, maybe I'm wrong, but I've not seen Ghanaian content on any Nigerian YouTube channel, like I seen Ghanaian films or skits or on any Nigerian YouTube channel. I haven't seen that yet. Maybe they've seen that. That's what he's talking about, fighting copyright claims in Nigerians. So this is the part I was talking about.
Honorable, Yehia Film Festival.
Yehia Film Festival. He was talking about, and when the clip goes on, he was talking about like every month there are film festivals held across the world, right? And that government should help Kumawood actors go to these festivals. He talked about he having his visas and he can go by himself, but he wants more industry people to go. So he's pleading with governments to at least every month have a delegation go to some of the big festivals. He mentioned Toronto, he mentioned Germany, he mentioned Berlin, he mentioned Canada. And he essentially, the point he was getting across to the regional minister was that every month government should fund a delegation to attend festivals. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But when they go to the festivals, what are they going to do there? Really? What are they going to do there? He talked about how at some festivals he's been to, he would see a pavilion for certain countries where people would have like their content, and it would be easier for marketers and distributors to see the content and then engage with the filmmakers and then take their contacts and then do business with them later on. That's all true, right? But then again, I feel like we don't have to be going to government with some of these things, right? Yes, maybe what we really should be taking advantage of is submitting to these festivals. Really, think about it. How difficult do we need government to submit our films to festivals? We don't need an office, or we don't need government assistance to submit films to festivals. Get the submission by all means. Get the submission. And then if there's the need for government to help you travel to that festival, of course, then you can approach government with that. If government doesn't support you because they can't, that's fine. But once we start making it a culture, we start making it an intentional action that Ghanaian filmmakers or Ghanaian films are doing well on the festival circuit, government has no option than to tune in and say, look, let's support these guys. Let's give them the push. Let them get out there. Let them sell Ghana. Let them, bring some attention or bring some, recognition to the Ghanaian space in general through film. But telling government to send a delegation to film festivals every month, bro, that's wild. That's wild, because we know how this is going to play out. People are going to take visas, travel and never come back. We know that. Like, let's not kid ourselves. People are going to take advantage of that, hop on a plane with a visa, land in Berlin, and vanish. You've seen that. Bro, we know that will happen. Another thing that he said earlier on in the clip, earlier on in his submission, was the fact that there are no film festivals in Ghana, and that government should help start or help support a film festival in Kumasi that would bring attention to Kumawood. I agree. There's a need for there to be a strong enough or a big enough festival that captures the essence of what Kumawood is. I agree to that. But making the point on the back that there are no film festivals in Ghana is crazy. Ill-informed. Again, throwing dust into people's eyes, because there are several film festivals in Ghana. Several. Top of my head, I could mention 5, but I'm not going to mention them. There are film festivals in Ghana that are actually doing well, right? Maybe a lot of that conversation is limited to Accra. That's fair. But again, we already know government is not going to do that. Okay. The reason why I'm pointing out all these things is that I want our older folk, people that have attained a certain notability or a certain recognition in the film industry, to be very circumspect in some of the things they request from government officials when they meet in such gatherings. Okay. And even some of the things they say, because it makes the entire industry come across as dumb. There are low-hanging fruits. There are things that we can do. There are things that we can take advantage of that we do not necessarily even need to speak to government about or beg government about. We are not doing those. And then every time or every chance we get a government official into the room with us, we go on some needless request, a list of requests, like having a YouTube office in Kumasi. And here's the thing, really. It's not like these government officials don't know these things, so they know. And when we ask for some of these things, we end up looking very stupid. And then they go and they see like, these people are not serious. And that's the truth. Because I don't see what really a YouTube office in Kumasi is going to do for the film industry. I don't get it. Maybe I'm that shallow. Maybe I'm not fully aware of the issues. But if it's about copyright claims, you can fight a copyright claim on YouTube from your desk. Okay, maybe you don't understand it. There are people in the space who have worked the YouTube system long enough to understand and be able to help you. Right? There are people that have been cashing in from YouTube for years, that are making money from YouTube, that can help you. We don't freaking need a YouTube office. We should stop asking for dumb stuff. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. We should stop asking for dumb stuff. That's it. That's my hot take on this matter. If I go on any further, I might come off as more disrespectful. So I'm just going to end it here. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on my hot take in the comment section as well. Do well to subscribe if you already haven't. Do well to hit the notification bell so you can get any updates or any content that I put on this channel as well. Share this video like Alpha Hour. Share this video. My name is Asnakomah and this is GH Movie Freaks Hot Take. Peace.